What's going on YouTube? Now the Pathfinder took some flack when it became the family crossover it is today. However, for 2019, Nissan is adding back some of that rugged flavor from the previous generation with this brand new Rock Creek Edition. Of course, as always, we do want to especially thank our friends at Gates Nissan in Richmond, Kentucky for giving us access to this Pathfinder. And if you're in the market for any new Nissan, be sure to stop by their dealership or visit them via their website, which we provided a link to in the video description. So with that said, let's check out the most rugged looking Pathfinder on the market. So the first thing we'll look at is the styling, which is the most important part of the Rock Creek Edition. The Pathfinder is normally very conservative looking, so for this model, Nissan makes it stand out with a fully black V-Motion grille. Additionally, they also changed out the inside texture to a black mesh and the lower bumper to a more rugged looking version. Now since the Rock Creek Edition can be added to either the SV or the SL, you have headlights that are either these halogens or LEDs if you go for the SL version, but regardless you will have fog lights. Around at the side and back, you have a similar formula. Black out all the chrome and increase the ruggedness of the trim around the wheels and the bumper. The other details didn't change, like your hidden exhaust pipe and halogen taillights across the lineup. But overall, the Rock Creek Edition adds a lot to the Pathfinder's visual package, by making it far more distinctive and giving it more of a masculine edge. Now beyond the black elements, these wheels are what best distinguishes this as the Rock Creek Edition. They are 18-inch alloys, but with a really cool design that reminds me of ones I've seen on the Wrangler. And then as far as your mirrors, they are of course black, and they are heated as well on the SL or the SV with the technology package. Now as far as safety features, the Pathfinder in general has got some big upgrades this year. Nissan has started including blind spot monitoring, forward emergency braking, and adaptive cruise control as standard on the SV and up, which does of course mean that every Rock Creek Edition will come with those features. The last two things to wrap up the outside with are the towing and fuel range. For the first, it is rated at 6,000 pounds, which is better than average. And for the latter, it achieves 429 miles of range from the 19.5 gallon fuel tank. But anyways, that wraps up everything on the outside. So now let's see what the Rock Creek adds to the interior. So pretty much every version of the Pathfinder will come with Nissan's intelligent entry system, except the very base model. And you will also have a remote start system included along with that. As far as getting inside the Pathfinder, there is not a sensor behind the handle, so you're just going to press the button to get in. So taking a look inside the 2019 Pathfinder Rock Creek, as you can tell there are plenty of changes, just like on the outside for the Rock Creek Edition. Now normally all of the trims have the choice between almond or charcoal colors, and then your upper trims have leather and your lower trims have cloth. However, when you go for the Rock Creek Edition, we basically go to a combination of cloth and leather and a unique multi-tone setup. Now as far as your door trim, this also shows off one of your Rock Creek changes, which is the high contrast stitching that goes across this leather on the armrest. As well as the unique faux carbon fiber trim. As far as the rest of the armrest door trim, it is padded across the top as well. For your front two windows, they are one-touch automatic. And then coming down to the seats here, they are 8-way power adjusting on all but the very base model. So like I was saying, this is our combination seat of cloth in the middle with our leather and the same contrast stitching right through there. And then we've got the embroidered Rock Creek stitched into the gray contrast part right there. Definitely a very attractive looking seat. So as far as the Pathfinder lineup is concerned, for 2019, there's not really any major changes to the interior, but the Rock Creek Edition, as we've already shown, does add several different features. As far as the materials, nothing has changed for the Rock Creek, so all of the upper dash continues to be hard touch plastic, as well as the lower areas, but like I already pointed out, you do have this faux carbon fiber trim. To start it up, just press the standard button. When you push it, you will see the standard 8-inch display fire up. This is included across all the models. Alright, so taking a look at the gauges, these are your classic Nissan gauges here. So you've got mostly analog, but we do have a 4-inch multifunction display in the middle. So we can just use this button here on the steering wheel to cycle through several different features. We have our tire pressure, different safety systems as well. So you do have all the expected information available. Coming back to the steering wheel, it is of course electric power assisted, and you will find the nice leather wrapping across all but the very base model. And then here on the Rock Creek, once again, we do have the uniquely colored stitching, which looks very nice. Up here, these buttons have to do with your multifunction display. You also have your audio, phone, and voice controls. And then on this side, we have our buttons for our cruise control. If you were to go for the Platinum model, it would also have rain sensing wipers. And then on our particular model, we have a manually adjusting steering wheel, but the top two trims would have a power adjusting steering wheel, so if you went for the SL Rock Creek, you would have that. Since this is the SV Rock Creek, we do have one of the SL features though, and that's the heated steering wheel, which is included in our SV Rock Creek technology package. Storage, this being Nissan's biggest crossover, you definitely have things covered. So starting out with our center console here, this comes with the unique 2-tiered setup. So if you click this will show you the lower area. So this is the biggest part. You do have a nice felt lining down there, a little shelf. You will also find your 2 USB ports as well as a 12-volt outlet. You can just shut that. You can grab this little handle called upper, and this gives you a totally separate area. As you can see, it's also pretty spacious and has a felt lining as well. Up here you got 2 of your cup holders, and the Nissan also includes another large bin. This has got a really grippy finish on it, so it'll definitely hold your phone in place. And we have a charging USB port, a charging Type-C USB port, as well as another 12-volt outlet. And then finally, you've got this little shelf down here on the side. This also could be good for sticking a phone or something like that. Alright, so coming back to the shifter here, this is just a traditional physical shifter. So pull back for drive, and you can come back a little bit more for the low. When we go into reverse, we do have the standard backup camera with the active trajectory and parking sensors. Now if you were to go for the SL Rock Creek Edition, that would come with the around view monitor. And then back behind the shifter, you do have your 4-wheel drive controls. The Rock Creek, I don't believe, gets any additional controls, but this already does give you more control than a lot of the competition. Now moving on up here, we have our heated seats controls. Heated seats start on the SL normally. However, we have the technology package, which does include heated seats for this SV Rock Creek edition. As far as seat ventilation, that is only on the Platinum, so you won't be able to get any Rock Creek model with vented seats. And then moving on up to the rest of the climate controls, 3-zone automatic climate control is standard across every single Pathfinder. So as you can see, you just have these simple knobs. When you make adjustments, it does show up there on the screen. And everything is represented physically here, so it is pretty easy to use. Now coming on up here to our audio system, only the Platinum has the top-end 13-speaker Bose sound system, while all the rest of them are going to come with the 6-speaker sound system, which is obviously what we have. So let's go ahead and take a sample of that. Sound quality of this system is decent considering it is the base system, but once again, if you added the Rock Creek package to the SL, then that would give you the option to get that upgraded Bose sound system. But anyways, that brings us up here to our NissanConnect system, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. Now, one of the interesting things about the Pathfinder system is that it's called NissanConnect, but it's basically the Infinity system. So instead of the typical setup you see with Nissans, we have the setup we see on the Infinity QX60 and several other Infinity models. That's not a bad thing. It works pretty much the same. It's just that you mostly have physical buttons down here to skip to the different sections versus having like a dedicated home screen. But we do have our navigation system that is included on this model through the SV technology package, or it would be standard if you went for the SL Rock Creek edition. Zooming is very nice and responsive. We can go to our apps. This just allows you to find different apps to download, like I said, in a similar way to Infinity. We do also have phone connection, so you have your phone book, contacts, messages, stuff like that. But one con of going to the Infinity system is that we do not have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Just like all Infinity models, neither of those are included, whereas they are included on most models with the NissanConnect system. But anyways, we'll move on up here to our mirror. It is auto dimming with the HomeLink universal remotes built into it on the SV and up. However, one thing the SV Rock Creek is going to be sacrificing compared to the SL Rock Creek is that we do not have a moonroof. If you went for the SL Rock Creek, you would have the dual panel moonroof. But overall, the cabin of the 2019 Pathfinder continues to be a highly functional place. And then of course, when you choose the Rock Creek edition, it just adds a little bit of extra specialness to that practicality. But anyways, now I'll go ahead and hand it off to my brother Mason, who will check out the back seats and the cargo area.
Alrighty, so coming around to the 2019 Nissan Pathfinder second row seats, you're going to find a really large amount of space even for its class. You'll find 42 inches of rear legroom and 39 inches of rear headroom, which does place it above main competitors like the Toyota Highlander and Honda Pilot. Now turning over here to your door trim, it is also nicely appointed. So you have a leather wrapped armrest with some orange stitching going through it, as well as a nice door handle and some power windows. Now in addition to that, you have a cup holder as well as some more bottle storage below that. The seat itself is really nicely designed. As you can see, you have that gray in the middle, as well as leather on the outside, and it does also slide and recline. Now here in the center you will find nice features such as these nice rear vents, which are standard across the board, as well as your own climate controls, so you can adjust your fan speeds as well as your temperature back here. And down below that you will also find a smart charging USB port as well as a USB Type-C port. Now in addition to that, if you opt for the higher end models, the SL and Platinum, you will also have rear seat heating. Now in order to get down the armrest, you just pull it down, and it does have some more cup holders inside as well as a little storage bin. Up top, your headliner is quite nice, and you do have some lighting, as well as an assist grip and coat hook. Now as far as, like I said, this is one of the largest among all of its rivals, so behind rear seating position I definitely do not have any issues. I have probably 8 to 9 inches of rear leg room, and my feet can easily slide up under the seat. Now in order to get into the third row seats, Nissan has made it quite easy. So all you have to do is locate this little lever, pull it up, and it will sandwich the seat and allow you to slide it right out of the way. Now looking at the third row itself, it is pretty spacious back here as well, so you do have 31 inches of rear leg room. So now let's go ahead and get back there and see what it's like for an adult. And as far as how this area is, my first impression is it's pretty spacious back here. This seat is scooted all the way back, so this is as small as legroom as you're ever going to get. And I still have about an inch or so of space. My feet also have a spot to go. However, I am lacking a little bit in terms of the thigh support here. I have probably about 6 inches in between my thigh and the seat, which is a little uncomfortable. But off to the side, Nissan does give you some more cup holders. And they also give you a nice vent, which is a nice touch. And you do have some lighting here in the back. Now in order to get it back, just pull it up again. And it does allow you to slide it right back in place. Now coming around to the trunk, it is not power until you go for the SL and Platinum trims, and on those trims it is also foot activated. But once you get inside the Pathfinder's trunk, you are going to find once again a nice amount of space. So you'll find 16 cubic feet behind the third row seats. That expands to 48 cubic feet behind the second row, and a maximum of 80 cubic feet with all of the seats folded. Now that does put it right in line with most of its competitors. And Nissan does finish it very nicely back here. You do have a 12-volt power outlet, as well as a nicely carpeted floor. And underneath, you have a nice storage bin that goes probably a foot deep and goes all the way across the entire width of the trunk. Now, if you want to fold the third row from back here, all you have to do is look at these little levers, and it is pretty easy. You fold the headrest as well, and it goes right down like that. Now over here in the passenger seat, it is manually adjusting on this SV Rock Creek. And as far as your features go in front of the passenger, you do have a nicely dampened glove box that is actually surprisingly large. And up top you do have a large sun visor with mirror and light, and it does also detach and extend. But anyway, guys, that sums up all of the rear areas of this Pathfinder. So now let's go ahead and get on the road and see how comfortable it is.
Alright, so let's go ahead and discuss the Pathfinder's powertrain. Now, the Rock Creek Edition doesn't change anything in terms of what you typically get. So all models do come standard with the 3.5 liter V6 engine that produces 284 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque. It is paired with Nissan's Xtronic continuously variable transmission, and you do have the option between 2- and 4-wheel drive across all of the trim levels, including the Rock Creek Edition. All that's good for 0-60 about 7.3 seconds according to Car and Driver. And then as far as the fuel economy, it hasn't changed any with the new additions for the Rock Creek Edition. So you're still rated at 20 city, 27 highway, 23 combined with the 2-wheel drive model. With the 4-wheel drive model, it drops ever so slightly to 22 combined. And then finally, if you go for that top-end Platinum with the larger wheels, you're going to lose another mile per gallon. But anyways, now let's go ahead and take it for a quick spin. So taking off and getting up to speed in the 2019 Nissan Pathfinder. What I noticed right off the bat is that power is pretty good. It's better than I expected. You know, some of these vehicles can really struggle to get up to speed, but the V6 and has plenty of torque, and the CVT does deliver it in a way that gets you up to speed quickly.
And just cruising along here at highway speeds, obviously the mission of this Pathfinder is not to be sporty, but rather to be comfortable for all 3 rows. And I can tell you it definitely does a good job with that. One of the first things I noticed when I sat down was just how comfortable these seats are. They're super comfortable. And also the ride, up here at like 50 miles an hour, you know, it rides extremely smoothly in this car, and it's also extremely quiet. So this really is a great like road trip car, and it's going to be great for all of your family members as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that power delivery is satisfactory for sure. I'm going around a little corner there. This is certainly not a sporty car. It's you know, the focus is family comfort, and that's what it should be. But you will notice some body roll and stuff, especially if you're used to a sedan like I am. However, it's not like a bunch or uncharacteristic for the class, let's just say. But this right here is definitely this car's natural habitat. Just kind of cruising down the road. It's very comfortable. It's very hushed as well. I mean, we're driving over a bridge right now. Okay, now we're back on the road, so you can tell it's very quiet in here. It's extremely windy outside, about 30-40 mile an hour winds, yet I don't really hear any wind noise. I'm not getting blown around too badly. Definitely has a nice, you know, solid planted feel. no type of dead wandering in the steering or anything. It tracks straight. You know, so it definitely does highway, cruising around. Definitely does that very well. But overall, the Pathfinder does a good job with the family mission that it is tasked with. And as far as the Rock Creek Edition, it doesn't really change that at all, but it does allow you just to have more of a fun, more and sporty looking vibe to it, look a little bit more muscular, you know, and I think it really improves the overall package. It doesn't even cost that much money, so it seems like definitely a worthwhile addition to the Pathfinder lineup.
Now, as far as the pricing is concerned for the 2019 Nissan Pathfinder, you're going to find very competitive pricing for its class. So for the very base model in two-wheel drive, that's the S, and that's going to start at $31,530. If you want to go one rung up to what we have here, which is the SV, that's going to start at $34,340. The SL is going to start at $38,020. And finally, the top-end Platinum trim starts at $42,870. Now, if you want four-wheel drive across any of those trims, that's going to be an additional $1,690. And the Rock Creek Edition on the SV or SL is another $995. Now, we have also opted for the Rock Creek Edition Tech Package, which is another $980. And then we have the destination charge of $1,045. So that brings our total for this SV four-wheel drive to $39,080, which is definitely competitive for its class. This is not a top-end model, and basically the Pathfinder will, it mirrors a lot of the rivals like the Honda Pilot and Toyota Highlander.
And the Rock Creek Edition equipment is a good value as well. At only $995, it really changes the overall look of the vehicle and really makes it stand out and be a lot more distinctive.
Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching this in-depth look at the 2019 Nissan Pathfinder SV Rock Creek Edition. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.